Hi, welcome again to our next video, PEP Camp 2021 Social Studies. I'm going through fast. I'm working with 15 minutes, so I'll go straight to the items. Number 1. Which of the following would be most helpful in finding the meaning of the word indentureship? A, an atlas, B, a dictionary, C, a mathematics textbook, and D, a website, india.com. The answer is B, a dictionary. Let's move on to number 2. And you have to read and say whether what is a pull or push factor for each. Leroy Chang left China to work in Jamaica for a few years. He was from a very poor family. Mr. Chang heard that he could make a lot of money working on a sugar estate in Jamaica. While working on the plantation, he met Mr. Lin Sam, who came to Jamaica from Trinidad. He had completed his contract, and the plantation he was working on was seriously damaged by flooding and insect. So for Leroy Chang, what was the pull factor? Poverty. What was his pull factor to Jamaica? Job opportunity. For Leroy Sam, what pushed him from Trinidad was natural disaster. It speaks of flooding and so. Natural disaster. Pulled him to Jamaica, job opportunities. Number 3. When Leroy Chang arrived in Jamaica, he was best described as what? A newcomer, an immigrant, a settler, or a traveler. That would be an immigrant, which is B. Immigrant, emigrant. Remember, IM is in, EM is out. So it would be an emigrant from Trinidad, but an immigrant in Jamaica. This is for number 4. This contract is made on the 19th day of August in the year 1873 between Patrick Long and Raj Patel. Patrick Long will provide food, clothing, and housing, and in return, Raj Patel will work on the sugar plantation for 3 years. Which of the following is the best meaning for the word contract used in the extract above? A says a decrease in size, B a decrease in number, C an agreement between two persons, D a note with names and dates. The answer is C. It's an agreement. Moving on to number 4. Number 5. Crop over started in Barbados during slavery to mark the end of the sugar crop. It is celebrated every year from June to August. The celebrations include a parade with music and dancing. It is like a party with many private and public events. Which term best describes the activities in the paragraph? So would you call all of that a festival? Is it a fair, a gathering, or a parade? Of course, we know the crop over is one of the secular festivals, so it's a festival. Moving on. All right, which of the following would be the most reliable source to find the date when Emancipation Act was passed? Would it be government records, personal diaries, school records, or personal letters? Of course, the answer is A, government records. That's more trusted. All right, number 7, which is the correct order in which the historical events happened in the Caribbean? Arrival of the Spaniards, arrival of Africans, Morant Bay Rebellion, passing of the Act, that is emancipation, that is A. B says the Spaniards first, then the Africans, then the Emancipation Act, then rebellion. C says it was the Morant Bay Rebellion, then the emancipation, then the arrival of Spaniards, then the Africans. D says emancipation, then Spanish, then Morant Bay Rebellion, and then Africans. And we know it has to be B. B, I'm just going to stop right there for B. Spaniards, they came in way up in 1492, 94, thereabout. Africans in the 1513. Emancipation Act was 1838. Morant Bay Rebellion, 1865. So we know it's that. That's the order for that one. That's B. For this one, complete the timeline. So arrival of the British. In here you would have 1655, that's when they came. 1838 is the Emancipation Act. Some people will call it full emancipation. Some may say slavery abolished. Same thing. That's the end of it. The end of the Emancipation Act. Remember before that in 1834 was when they have the first bill to stop the buying and selling, and from 1834 to 38 you had some indentureship program, and then 1838 was the end. 1962, if you don't know that one, I'm coming for you. Jamaica's independence. Number 9. Which of the following are correctly matched? English are from Asia. B says the Indians are from England. C says the Africans are from Spain. D says the French come from Europe. And it's D, French to Europe. Oh God, I know the say if you go. Right here, French to Europe. All right. Look at the map. We have a triangle right in Europe area here, a diamond in Africa, and a rectangle in Asia. So let's see what it says. So it's asking you to give the ethnic group plus the name of the continent. All right, let's see. So the triangle, we know it's in Europe. So the name of the group would be Europeans to come here. The continent, Europe. For the rectangle, the name of the group would be Chinese. Chinese over here. The Indians come from somewhere in here. So it's Chinese. The group is Chinese. The continent is Asia. For the diamond, the group is Africans. Continent over here would be Africa. Moving on. I'm going fast. So here we have a flyer showing goods and services. Heroes Day Fair, Downs Community. Maple, Duke, John Kuno, Dinky Mini, curry and roti, fish and bami, Dukuno, and Nancy Stories drumming. Come and enjoy. All right, let's see what it says. So you have to complete number 11 here. So what are the goods and what are the services? You would list them here. Would have done goods and services. Goods would be like the curry goat and the curry, whatever curry it is, and roti, fish and bami and those. Dukunu, I think dukunu is like tire leaf, they call it. And Nancy Stories, drummings, and those would be services. All right, so you have to go back and see what are goods and services for that one. This one says, the Chinese are here, Lance Nita. The Chinese genius for trading came with the early immigrants who started the line of grocery shops that have become their trademark across the country. Known as Chinese shops, they could be found in almost every village and town and were the forerunners of the grocery and dry goods business establishments, including the supermarkets that first opened in Jamaica in the 1950s. So put a tick now to say whether the statement is supported or not supported. So the Chinese were the first to open supermarkets in the country, and that is supported. All right, the Chinese were very good businessmen before they came to Jamaica. The passage does not support that. So moving on. You have to play the video slow to catch me, all right? Which of the following would help to promote Caribbean culture? A says a festival held in a Caribbean country every 4 years that showcases Caribbean music and food. B, a television show that has programs about the history, I think of Africa, India, and China. C, a radio program that talks about Caribbean government. D, a book which has information on the arrival of different ethnic groups to the Caribbean. A is a little far off, having it every 4 years, but it's the most appropriate, so it would be A. All right. Let's look at number 14. It says, which of the following is most likely to preserve Jamaican culture? Airing on television programs about Jamaican culture once per year. B, playing American music, yeah, they say Jamaica, on the radio every day. C, going to the beach on Heroes Day. D, teaching about Jamaican culture in school. This has got to be the one to preserve and maintain our culture by teaching it in school. It's the best of all the options, most workable. All right, let's move on to number 15. Which of the following founded the Jamaica Labour Party? Of course, it's Bustamante. Michael did not find a party. Norman founded PNP. Edward Seaga never founded a party. Which of the following national heroes was born in St. Anne? And of course, that's the one, Mr. Marcus Messiah Garvey. Moving on. You have to know when the others were born. I can't go through everything. Which of the following sources would provide credible information on the life of Marcus Garvey? A says a library, a Liberty Hall museum. B says Facebook page. C says a blog. And D says article in magazine. Of course, it's got to be a museum, Liberty Hall museum. All right, let's move on. It says here, we have to read this, then choose something. This has a lot of reading and writing. It seems we're not going to be writing, since you're not going to be writing in the exam for this one. Let's look at the support, does not support, and multiple choice items. Put a tick, so we have to read the I up here. Read the arguments and see. Britain was prepared to spend $6 million per day on war, but could only afford $1 million per year for 20 years to fix the disgraceful and shocking conditions that exist in the colonies for which she was responsible. Means I would definitely have to read this, it seems. But I'm not going to go through that one. Moving on. Let's see down here. In Cuba, this is independence in Cuba and Jamaica. In Cuba, the fight for independence from Spain ended in 1898. The leaders of the fight for independence were Jose Marti and Antonio Maceo. In Jamaica, Alexander Bustamante and Norman Manley negotiated with the British government and gained independence in 1962. So completing the table, the year is 1898 for Cuba. Ours would be 1962. So you put 1962 right here. 1962. How was independence achieved? For Britain, for Cuba, they did fight. So you see they had a fight with Jose Marti and Antonio Maceo leading out. And for Jamaica, we did not fight. Remember, we went through peaceful negotiation. All right. For Cuba, Alexander Bustamante and Norman, so it means that you'd have to have Jose Marti and Maceo right here. Antonio Maceo as the people who fought. All right. For this one, where are we now? For Cuba, they got freed from Spain, so it means that we got freed from the British. All right. Moving on. All right. Look at the coat of arms, answer 23 to 25. Here it is. You know what it looks like, but take a quick look to see what's there. If anything is missing, which revision is this one? All right, which ethnic group is on the Jamaican coat of arms? Is it the Spaniards? Is it the East Indians, Tainos, or Africans? Of course, we know it's the Tainos. Let me get my highlighter. Tainos. All right, moving on. You're taking up my time thing. 24. Which best explains the Jamaican motto, out of many, one people? A says Jamaicans are from several different ethnic groups. B says Jamaicans speak many different languages. C, Jamaicans travels to many different countries. D, Jamaicans are from one ethnic group. And of course, it's got to be A. We're from several different ethnic groups, hence out of many, one people. 25. Which animal is on the coat of arm? A says it's an alligator. B says it's a crocodile. C says it's iguana. D says lizard. If anyone will ever say anything other than crocodile. All right, the Jamaican crocodile. All right, moving on to 26. All right, here's another section. So you have to look at this mountain, this relief map of Jamaica. You remember, always use your key. Showing you the mountains, which one is mountain and Ohio and all right, I'm going fast as I told you. Which is the highest mountain peak in Jamaica? You don't even have to look on the key, you know it's Blue Mountain. Everybody knows that by now. Blue Mountain is the highest mountain in Jamaica. Which statement is correct? Most of the highlands are also along the coast. Can't be. Most of the lowlands are along the coast. Could be. The highest mountains are in the western end. No. There is more lowland in the northern coast than we